Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sebastian. We welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty serious show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Excuse me. And if you want today's full show, before it comes out on YouTube, it is streaming for free on the DREAMERSPRO podcast that we have pinned below. Anyway, let me get into this topic here. This is a topic that I've broached on more than one occasion. I've talked about the fact that some of these American players don't seem to be taking the game very seriously. And as a result of this, if they're not careful, they're going to lose the league that the predecessors built for them, excuse me, over entitlement. 3 days ago, I put up a post in our community that generated about 1,400 likes and about 400 comments. I said the following: if American-born players don't start taking the NBA serious and move the game forward like their predecessors, they will lose this game to foreign players in the next 5 years. And they will have no one to blame but themselves for effing off what those that came before them built over entitlement. So those are my comments, and I 100% stand by those comments. So what happened? I was going through the internet this morning, and I came across a clip from The Odd Couple featuring Rob Parker and Chris Broussard, one of my favorite sports shows. And during this conversation, they were talking about USA needs to take a look in the mirror about how they're developing players. And on the thumbnail, it has Nikola Jokic, Lonzo Ball, and SGA, right? So I click on the show to hear what they were talking about. And essentially, Chris Broussard was saying the following. He was saying, number one, listen, these guys, number one, don't take the game very seriously right now. And it can risk losing the NBA to foreign players. And he also talked about the way American players are reared, and how that could actually be working against them, right? And I thought he made some very sound points. So what we want to do is we want to get into what Chris Broussard had to say here. I want you guys to listen to it carefully, and then we're going to come back and give you guys our thoughts. Take a listen to what Chris Broussard had to say here.
What? And Rob, when we look, now you got Jason Tatum, he's fifth, and he's young, thankfully. We got Anthony Edwards. He's young, and Anthony Edwards, we're gonna talk about him a little later. That boy is just bad.
We were all in his camp for Rookie of the Year.
And we were right.
Go back.
It's nothing against
LaMelo,
who is good. He just can't stay healthy.
But Chris,
and not winning. Obviously.
That year we thought he should have been the Rookie of the Year, and now look at that kid.
Yeah, he could be next, and we're gonna get into that, but. So those guys it's nice to see them. You got Ja Morant. He gets his stuff straightened out.
I hope so. He's too young for it not to.
He's too young. He's too good. So there are, and Zion is starting. They're starting to win, and Zion's playing well. So there are some American players coming up, Rob. But I want to know, and look, some people may say this, and we're going to open it up to the callers, Rob. But some people may be like, look, I mean, we're lamenting the demise, if you will, of the American, superstars, and the fact that the best players in the world are no longer from America. We still, I think, have the best country. You don't have one country that's going to beat our best guys, but that might be coming because, we got to send the big boys over there now, LeBron and Steph and Durant, but they're going to be retiring pretty soon. So we'll see about that. But Rob, some people might just say, look, it's the world. It's the world. Of course, the world is going to produce better players than just one country called America. Even though it's been our sport, they've been playing basketball long enough in these other places that maybe some people might just say that, right? And that might be true. Maybe that's true. I don't know. Because you're talking about Jokic, Serbia. Okay. Who else they got from Serbia? I know they got a few guys, but Lucas, Slovenia.
Right.
Who else they got?
It's not like it's 40 guys coming from over there.
Exactly.
Right. There's a big difference between that.
Right. So we get that. But I do think, Rob, that I think we need to take a long, hard look in the mirror at how we're developing players. And I think that there are some things that could be changed. I think in overseas, I think that their young players are coming up in a lot more humble circumstances. I don't mean necessarily socioeconomic, although that could be a factor too. But I mean, when they're 15 and they're the best player in their country at that age, best 15-year-old in their country, they're playing on a team with grown men and not getting much playing time, practicing every day, and getting beat up and schooled by adults. So then as they age and get filled into their body, 18, 19, now they're the man. They're ready to ball. Whereas our 15-year-olds, Rob, if you that nice at 15 in America, you got millions of social media followers, and I mean millions.
Right, no doubt.
Right? Hundreds of thousands for some, but millions for others. You might have an NIL. You're getting, people treating you like a celebrity and a superstar. And obviously, if you got that many followers, you're getting paid for that. And Rob, to top it off, AAU, you're playing games. We've heard it time and time again. They might AAU, you might play
no skills,
5
Chris.
to
Just
10
play
games.
like
Right.
over the weekend, right?
Yes, and in other countries they are drilling. They're running through drills. They're practicing, and our guys are just playing a lot of games and not developing those skills. They're skilled obviously in ball handling and shooting and stuff, but not drilling nearly as much as they do overseas. So I think those are factors.
So you heard what Chris Broussard had to say. I wanna anchor down on a point that he brought up. He spoke about the way foreign players are being developed and being prepared for the NBA game versus the way NBA players are being brought up through AAU. And this is something I've heard Kobe Bryant, Robert Horry, and some other NBA players talk about in terms of how much they dislike the AAU and how they believe is doing the younger players a major, major disservice. Kobe also spoke about the fact that he was lucky because he was able to catch a lot of the clinics that were taking place in Europe growing up. And that's one of the reasons why he's so fundamentally sound. And he spoke about how American players are currently at a disadvantage based on the way that they're being brought up through the system. So you listen to those points, you listen to Chris Broussard say this, but then I got to go back and ask the question. If players are being brought up in a way where they're not being taught the fundamentals of the game, and to describe it the way Kobe Bryant described it, he basically said like it's an instant gratification type of game that they're playing. He called it basketball by accident. How again is this the best version of NBA players ever? How do we reconcile those two things? Because it seems like the only thing people are basing this off of is the fact that people can dribble better and shoot threes better. The reason I didn't mention the word shoot is because that's a very simplistic way to describe it. You say, well, they shoot better. No, they don't. They shoot the three better because they practice it more. There are no mid-range shooters in this NBA today. They're not. So the mid-range game is basically dead with the exception of a few players that have mastered it, like the Kawhis, the Kevin Durant's, the Devin Bookers, the DeMar DeRozans, and some others. There is no mid-range game. But what else are you going to hold on to? Well, they can shoot free throws. Well, players have always been able to shoot free throws, right? So when we're talking about more skilled, we're talking about dribbling and shooting threes. Does that constitute a more skilled crop of players because you decided to focus in on a particular thing? There really aren't really great defenders because it's not something that the NBA encourages. The NBA doesn't even encourage defense anymore. I was watching the Clippers versus Grizzlies game yesterday, and I couldn't believe how spread open the floor was. I'm like, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Like, this is crazy. You can't guard anybody because the floor is so spread out. Swing. Swing, run to the guy, swing again, run to the other side. That's the whole offense. Three. Very boring stuff in my personal view. But Chris brings up a good point in terms of the European players probably getting a leg up on the way that they're being bred. The second thing could be the attitude. You know, I think some American players feel like it's their daddy's league. Like, it's my birthright. Well, I'm from the States. The basketball is popularized in the States, so all NBA players must. That's the attitude. That is exactly how you lose things that previous generations built. You know, there've been a lot of family fortunes that have been lost and squandered to 3 generations down the line? Because you have the first one that builds it, the second one that kind of takes it seriously, and the third one, all they want to do is spend the money. And before you know it, the family wealth is gone. And then another family comes up. And then they become the new big boys on it. That's what's happening. You know, it's a shame, but it's going to be inevitable. Mark my word, it's going to be inevitable. It is going to be inevitable if they continue with this current trajectory. So what I want to know from you guys, what do you think about the points that Chris Broussard brought up? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We catch you on the next show. Peace.